Listen closely. Your mind isn't random. Your decisions are not just accidents. Every single choice you make, big or small, is controlled by patterns. These are patterns you didn't create, but patterns you continue to follow every single day. You believe you're acting on pure logic, but in reality you're driven by deep-seated conditioning. You think you're choosing freely, but you're just repeating what your mind has memorized over years and years. This audiobook isn't here to offer you simple comfort. It's here to reveal the blueprint of your thoughts, the architecture of your beliefs, and the silent code that guides your every move. Once you finally see these patterns for what they are, you are no longer controlled by them. You become the one who truly chooses. Do you ever feel like you're stuck in a loop, making the same mistakes, falling into the same old relationship patterns, and wondering why you can't seem to break free? You think you're in control, making conscious choices. But what if I told you that most of the time you're not? The truth is, your mind is running a script, a pre-written program based on years of habits, memories, and emotional conditioning. Every reaction, every impulse, every decision you think you're making in the moment is actually a replay. Your brain isn't reasoning. It's running a program it learned long ago. This is why you sabotage amazing opportunities, even when you say you want to grow. It's not because you're weak or unintelligent. It's because the program is older and more powerful than your conscious awareness of it. Think about it. Your nervous system learned what love and safety felt like long before you had the words to describe them. Your identity was built around what was familiar, not necessarily what was healthy or logical, just familiar. And to our brains, familiarity equals safety. The mind will choose what feels safe over what will help you grow every single time, unless you consciously intervene. Remember the last time you thought, "I knew better, but I did it anyway"? That wasn't a failure of your intelligence. That was the program running its script. We aren't driven by our preferences, we're driven by our programming. This explains why people return to partners who hurt them, or stay in jobs that drain their soul. It feels normal, and what feels normal, even if it's destructive, feels controllable. So, how do you break the code? How do you rewrite the script? It all starts with one powerful tool: awareness. Not just emotional awareness, but mechanical awareness. You have to become an observer of your own mind. Watch your reactions. Notice your triggers. What do you do when you feel uncomfortable? Do you distract yourself, seek validation, get angry, or shut down? Every single time you observe your reaction, instead of just mindlessly acting it out, you interrupt the loop. And every interruption is a moment where you reclaim your power. It's proof that you can be in control. It's a small, quiet, but incredibly profound choice you make at the level of awareness. Now, this takes discipline, not motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. Discipline is what remains. Discipline is choosing to do the opposite of what feels familiar and comfortable. It means embracing discomfort, because you know that discomfort is where growth happens. It means acting against the old version of yourself, without needing anyone's permission or validation. You don't have to feel ready, you just have to be aware. Awareness is the first step to true self-mastery, because once you can see the program, you can start to rewrite it. And now that you see it, you can't pretend you don't know anymore. This brings us to an even deeper truth we need to confront. Where did this programming come from? Your mind was programmed by the environment you grew up in. Your beliefs about love, success, and your own self-worth were handed to you. We're going to break down exactly how that happened and what you can do about it. Have you ever stopped to wonder where your beliefs actually come from? I mean, think about it. You weren't born with them. You weren't born with values, standards, or even a sense of who you are. All of that was given to you, installed like software into a new computer. Your environment shaped you long before you had any power to shape yourself. Your parents, your culture, your neighborhood, your school, your friends, even your earliest successes and failures, they were the architects of your inner world. This is why the things you consider normal aren't universal truths. They're just what you've seen the most. Exposure creates familiarity. Familiarity creates comfort. And that comfort eventually hardens into belief, and that belief becomes your identity. But here's a powerful idea. Belief is inheritance, not identity. Let that sink in for a moment. You didn't choose the way you love, you learned it. You didn't decide what success means to you, you absorbed it from the world around you. You didn't pick your fears. You were taught to be afraid of certain things. Your environment wrote the code for your mind before you even knew you were running on a program. This explains so much, doesn't it? It's why two people can see the exact same event and walk away with completely different interpretations. It's why one person sees a risk as a terrifying danger, while another sees it as a thrilling opportunity. It's why some of us are driven to constantly grow, while others cling desperately to what feels safe. This isn't about intelligence or personality. It's about conditioning. The voices you heard most often became your own internal voice. The ideas you were constantly surrounded by became your truth. But here is the game-changing shift. You are no longer that child with no control. You are not trapped in the environment that first shaped you. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You have the power to look at everything you were given and ask, and does this still serve me? Does this belief build me up or does it limit me? Does this identity strengthen me or does it suffocate me? You don't need anyone's permission to outgrow the world that made you. You don't need approval from others to redefine who you are. You absolutely do not need validation to rise above your origins. You are allowed to become someone your environment never trained you to be. But this requires discipline. It requires you to question everything you inherited. Question what you call love. Question what you call loyalty. Question what you call strength. And question what you call happiness. If you were taught that love means constant sacrifice, you might unconsciously sabotage stable, healthy relationships. If you learned that success equals complete exhaustion, you'll probably feel guilty whenever you try to rest. If you were taught that confidence is the same as arrogance, you will constantly shrink yourself to avoid being seen. Not because these ideas are true, but simply because they are familiar. Your real transformation begins the moment you stop confusing familiarity with truth. This is how you rebuild your identity. It's not about chanting affirmations or getting hyped up. It's about deep awareness and making conscious corrections. Because once you truly understand that belief is inheritance, not identity, you gain the ultimate power, the power to choose. And when you start choosing what to believe, consciously, deliberately, and intentionally, you stop repeating the life you were handed, and you start creating the life you were meant to live. Now that you understand where your beliefs come from, we have to go even deeper. You see, you didn't just inherit beliefs, you also inherited your desires. The things you chase, the things you crave, the things you think will finally give you a sense of meaning or worth. Guess what? Those were programmed too. In our next video, we're going to break that illusion of... Do you ever wonder why you want the things you want? You might think your goals, your dreams, your deepest desires are uniquely yours. But what if I told you they aren't? What if they were installed in you, like software? It's a wild thought, but stick with me. Our desires aren't born from some deep personal truth, they're learned. They're shaped by validation, by memory, by powerful emotional associations. Think back to a time something made you feel powerful, or seen, or finally worthy. That feeling, that's what you're really chasing. Not the car, not the promotion, not the likes on a post, but the emotional story attached to it. You don't want the thing. You want the feeling the thing once gave you. The story of meaning it created in your mind. Let's take the desire for approval. Why is validation so addictive? Because at some point in your life, probably when you were very young, getting that approval made you feel safe. It made you feel like you were enough. So now your brain, this incredible pattern-matching machine, just says more of that feeling. It's not about logic, it's about emotional memory. Your brain doesn't care about what's true. It cares about what feels familiar and rewarding. And here's the catch. Advertisers know this. Social media algorithms know this. Our entire culture is built on this. That's why your desires are surprisingly easy to manipulate. Look at the brands you love, the lifestyles you dream about, even the people you find yourself envying. None of that is an accident. You were taught what success looks like. You were shown what beauty is supposed to be. You were given a script for what confidence should feel like. And most of us, we internalize it all without a second thought. Why? Because it feels normal. And our brains mistake familiarity for truth. But let's be clear. Familiarity is not truth. It's conditioning. So, how do you break free? How do you start choosing what you truly want, separate from all the noise? It starts by slowing down. It starts with a simple, powerful question for every single one of your desires. Who taught me to value this? Was it a parent, a movie, an ad I saw 1,000 times? This is where you find your real power of choice. It's not a big, loud, dramatic revolution. It's a quiet, subtle, disciplined one. Every day you get to choose. Will you chase what's easy or what helps you grow? Will you chase applause from others or the quiet satisfaction of mastery? Will you chase fleeting attention or build real internal power? This isn't about wanting less. It's about becoming conscious of what you want and why. You don't need anyone's permission to change your mind about what's important. You don't need to justify your own evolution. Your desires can mature, but only if you do. Because here's the secret. Desire doesn't define who you are. Who you are defines your desires. When you deliberately build a stronger identity, a more disciplined mind, a deeper sense of awareness, your desires naturally begin to shift. The cravings lose their grip. The impulses become optional suggestions, not commands. But there's an obstacle in this path, a powerful internal force that fights against change. It's the part of you that desperately clings to your old identity, even when it's causing you pain. It's the guardian of your past, the protector of the familiar. It's that voice in your head that whispers, "No, stay who you were. It's safer here." We all have it. It's the ego. And in our next discussion, we're going to confront it head-on. Ever wonder why you stick with things that are clearly not good for you? A draining job, a toxic friendship, a bad habit you just can't shake? The answer might surprise you. It's not about a lack of willpower. It's your ego. Your ego's number one job isn't to help you grow, improve, or evolve. Its only goal is survival. It desperately clings to who you've been because that person is familiar, and our minds are wired to choose what's familiar over what's best for us, even if that familiarity is slowly destroying us. This is why you'll find yourself defending old beliefs you don't even agree with anymore, or protecting habits that are actively limiting your potential. Your ego would rather keep you small and stuck than let you become someone new. Why? Because new is unknown, and the unknown feels dangerous to the ego. Change is a threat to its identity. It prefers predictable misery over uncertain happiness. It would rather guard your old wounds than allow them to heal. Think about it. Your ego isn't your protector, it's your captor. Pay attention to your own defensiveness. Think about those times you fought tooth and nail to be right, instead of choosing to be better. How often do you justify your self-sabotage, telling yourself, "Oh, that's just who I am"? That's the ego talking. That's its cage, its prison, built from pride, excuses, and a fear of the unknown. But here's the truth. Who you are isn't a fixed state. It's who you were. It's the programming from your past. But you have a choice right now in this very moment. You can choose to stop defending an identity you've already outgrown. You can choose to stop protecting the version of yourself that's holding you back from your future. You can stop clinging to what's familiar just because it feels safe. This isn't about some magical boost of confidence. It's about discipline. The discipline to question your gut reactions. The discipline to humbly admit when you're wrong. And the discipline to allow your identity to evolve, to shed its old skin. When you feel that internal resistance as you try to change, that's a good sign. That's your ego panicking, terrified of becoming irrelevant. True growth requires a kind of ego death. Not the death of your true self, but the death of the outdated, limited version. So, what can you do? Start by watching your reactions. Notice when you get defensive, when you feel that burning need to prove a point, when you argue to protect your pride instead of your progress. In that moment, just stop, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself one simple question. Is this reaction about truth, or is it about protecting my identity? If it's about identity, let it go. Let that old story crumble. Let that old version of you die. Because every single time the ego dies, your true self is reborn. Every time you release who you were, you create space for who you are meant to become. Every time you choose growth over familiarity, you step into your real power. Your ego kept you trapped, but your awareness is the key that sets you free. Now that you can see the bars of the cage, the next step is clear. You have to deliberately rewrite the pattern. You must consciously choose and repeat only the thoughts and actions of the person you want to become. Your identity isn't something you choose once. It's a choice you make every single day through repetition. You have the power to decide who you are, starting now. Do you ever feel like you're stuck in a loop, wanting to change but never actually changing? You dream about it, you talk about it, but nothing happens. Why is that? It's because your identity isn't formed by what you desire. It's not formed by your intentions. Your identity is formed by one simple, powerful thing: repetition. What you repeat becomes what you believe. What you believe shapes how you act. And how you act over time becomes who you are. This is the truth many people avoid. You will not feel like changing when you need to the most. Your emotions will sabotage you. Your desire for comfort will hold you back. But you have a choice. The most powerful choice anyone can make is the choice to act in spite of how you feel. That's the secret. We think motivation has to come first. We think we need to feel confident or have everything figured out before we start. But that's backward. Discipline comes first. Repetition comes first. Your new identity comes after. Your mind doesn't believe what you say to yourself in the mirror. It believes what you do consistently. Think about it. If you repeatedly avoid difficult tasks, your mind learns, I shy away from challenges. I am weak in this area. If you constantly hesitate to speak your mind learns, my voice doesn't matter. I am unsure. If you always choose the distraction of your phone over focused effort, your mind learns, I don't finish what I start. I can't trust myself to follow through. Your mind follows the pattern, not your good intentions. But here is where you reclaim your power. You can rewrite the pattern. You can build a brand new identity through new deliberate repetition, and you don't have to start with some massive, life-altering change. Start small, start simple, but start daily. Wake up at the same time every day, not because it's some impressive feat of willpower, but because it teaches your mind discipline. Speak just one honest sentence a day, not because it will change the world, but because it teaches you self-respect. Do one small thing that makes you uncomfortable, not for the drama, but to teach your mind to stop running from discomfort. This is how you build a self that you can actually trust. Repetition creates your reality. What you repeat, you become. If you repeat making excuses, you become an excuse. If you repeat avoiding problems, you become avoidance itself. But the reverse is also true. If you repeat clarity, you become clarity. If you repeat courage, you become courage. If you repeat discipline, you become unstoppable. And let me be crystal clear about this. You do not need anyone's permission to change. You don't need applause. You don't need understanding or approval. Other people don't have to believe in the new you for you to start building it. This isn't about being perfect. Forget perfection. It's about being consistent. Intensity is like a flash in the pan. It fades. Consistency is what compounds over time, creating incredible results. Every single day you are choosing a pattern. Every single day you are reinforcing a version of yourself. You've seen how the mind works, the outdated programs, the inherited beliefs, the ego that resists change. You have seen the cage. You now understand the lock, and right now you hold the key. You hold the... So the only question left is this. And your ego? It built the walls that kept you trapped in the familiar. But here's the amazing part. Awareness changes everything. Once you see the pattern, you can break it. Once you recognize the programming, you can rewrite the code. You're no longer a passenger running on autopilot. From this moment on, every thought you have is a choice. Every action you take is intentional. You get to build the identity you truly want. So here's the challenge. Don't go back to the default settings. Don't fall back into the old loop. Choose consciously. Act deliberately. Repeat the habits that serve who you want to become, not who you were shaped to be. Because the truth is, you become what you repeat. Choose wisely. Thanks for watching, and if this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more.